And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Wildcard weekend is behind us. We're going to recap all the biggest headlines as well as 2 coaching moves. Unexpected, kind of expected. What the hell are the Cowboys going to do? That's all coming up on today's show. Before we get there, though, Sean, where can our listeners bet on who they think is going to be the next Dallas Cowboys head coach?
That'd be Bet Online. They continue to be the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting in 2025. If I put Joe on a batting platform, he'd get struck out in 3 pitches.
When was that time you were in a batting cage?
Too long. I really would like to go back to a batting cage.
If we went to a batting cage, over under on how many pitches it would take for me to make contact.
Oh, contact? 7 pitches.
Good contact.
Good contact?
Straight. Like the ball actually doesn't just go looping behind me. We're talking like real speed. We're turning up to 85 or 90.
85 or 90?
Yeah.
How many pitches? Let's just say you get 30 pitches.
Unlimited pitches. How many would it take me?
60.
60? You think that I'm
85? You think you could just step in a batting cage 85 and make solid contact?
I think I could hit after 15, maybe. I don't know. I haven't played baseball like that since middle school.
You would be in the box terrified of the ball. As an adult now, I think you'd be scared of the ball.
I don't think I'd be terrified of the ball.
We'd get you a good helmet.
No.
I'm just
helmet.
No helmet?
Domed.
No. Well, we all hope we would get domed. Look, I'm just saying, I don't know if I don't see you flushing up a ball. I do see you flushing up a bet at Bet Online.
Oh, I have this weekend.
Hopefully you stayed relatively hot. I did okay, and that's okay for the wild card round. Obviously, divisional round of football, best football weekend that you're going to get all season. Bet Online has the largest selection of odds, everything NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC. Number one sports betting source for the new year. Bet Online, the game starts here.
I appreciate that Justin Jefferson, we're recording this as the Rams-Vikings game is going on. I bet on the Rams to cover and to win. Let's see if that comes to fruition. But I appreciate that Justin Jefferson wears the shiniest is a terrible way to describe that, the iciest
there we
chain.
Go. Yeah.
I'm going to get clowned on for that. The iciest chain in the NFL, because every time the dude catches a ball, you see the damn thing through his pads.
I've always been very confused. I'm sure every chain is insured, and all these athletes have the hook at their jewelers. I would just be so terrified of my chain breaking in game. And I know offensive line's a little different than wide receiver, but there's a lot of hand fighting. There's a lot of hand fighting around the collar for wide receivers. I'd hate for my shit to get snatched off my neck, and because that's all I'd be thinking about for the rest of the game is, damn, I can't believe my chain broke.
I think that. I appreciate the bit of just hey, this is probably really uncomfortable and it's unnecessarily large.
It's got to feel awful.
Oh, running full speed downfield and then getting tackled, that landing on your neck underneath your pads probably hurts like a bitch.
The big stones also hitting you in your chin, under your chin strap. There's a lot. It's a mistake. You know what? I don't got it like that, so I can't judge. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, how, that's ridiculous.
Hey, man, at least you understand the kind of motion that you have. You know what? I don't have this. I can't. Some dudes are just built different. Yeah. Justin Jefferson, built different. Different level. It's a completely different level than us.
He's got collarbones of platinum, apparently. Good for him.
Sean, let's get to Wild Card Weekend and get to the rest of these games. First one that was a little unexpectedly lopsided, knowing how these two teams have squared off with one another and how they played one another during the regular season. Pittsburgh Steelers got their asses kicked by the Baltimore Ravens. 28-14 was the final score. But it was one of those games where you kind of felt like in halftime that the Ravens were just coasting and they just put the car in cruise control. They already ran all over them. They didn't need to do anything else. They just needed the game to end, and they knew it would. The discussion, though, now needs to be brought up. 0-5 in playoff games since 2017 is head coach Mike Tomlin. I'm going to say it. I think that they need to trade Mike Tomlin. I think firing him would be quite disgraceful, and I think it would be unnecessary. trading him and a new change of scenery is something that needs to happen. He's a great coach. We see the results that are produced during the regular season and done so without really any competent quarterback play. Steelers need to blow things up. We have seen a lot of teams toil and try to just kick the tires on other quarterbacks and hope it works. See what you can get for some of the key pieces on the roster, and I wouldn't stop at TJ Watt. Like, I would see what you can get and move on and try to completely start from scratch and build up. Because since Ben Roethlisberger, you haven't had an ounce of success offensively to the degree that you had when Roethlisberger was your starting quarterback. Trade Tomlin, let him take over a team that is actually in prime positioning to be competitive and win.
I actually think that Pittsburgh still has a good team. I think they have a ton of really good pieces. But since 2017, off the top of my head here, quarterbacks being washed Big Ben, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges. Let's think. We got Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. I know there was some other moron in there, mixing it up for sure. Like not a Trubisky, but some other awful.
Oh, wait. Yes. Trubisky.
Trubisky was there?
Yeah.
Oh, am I cracked? I might be cracked. Look, they have been dealt some pretty bad hands at the quarterback position. And you might say, Sean, that's what they get for always making the playoffs and having to draft in the 20s. They're never going to get that next big-time quarterback. I understand, but I think that they could maybe move some pieces around to make themselves a buyer. They do have a bevy of talents. If you want to get rid of Najee, fine. Pickens, fine. If you want to get rid of Freiermuth, fine. There's defensive pieces like TJ Watt's production has been called into question. If you want to trade while he's hot commodity, you could. There's options, but I think that Pittsburgh still has a really good core. They still have a really good coach. I enjoy the tradition of not a lot of coaching turnover. And honestly, for the bit, I'd let Tomlin coach in the dumpster fire until he has a losing record. That's what I would do.
Oh, so you just want them to constantly just keep running this thing into the wall head first?
I want to see how far he can go. Yeah, go ahead. How many winning seasons can you have?
Mike Tomlin's going to go until the age of 99 and then just die after
awesome.
After consecutive 12-5, 11-6 seasons, just nonstop and losing every single opening round playoff game.
Also, it's unfortunate because there's good points on why you should move on from Tomlin. Like, I think he made some good points, but
both sides need to change the scenery. It's that simple.
The majority of people, though, online that are pushing for Tomlin to be ousted and have been doing so for the last 3 years. Most annoying people that I've seen in sports. Just absolutely the most irritating group of people that just want to be first and they want the attention and they want to be a hater. You can tell their heart's not in it because they keep on having winning seasons. That's how you know that these Pittsburgh fans that are trying to get Tomlin out are just attention whores. I am not in on that. And just to protest them, I hope they keep Tomlin forever.
So the game let me rephrase how I was going to open that. Lamar Jackson played great. Josh Allen also played great. And we've already talked about this on the show, that they're the clear MVP candidates. And we have kind of swung back and forth on who should win the award. Do you think that we got an answer from the wild card round at all?
No, but the closest you could have is Josh Allen more favorable because James Cook isn't as dominant as Derrick Henry, and you could say that Lamar had a better piece in the backfield. Other than that, it's all knotted up.
James Cook also is phenomenal.
I know. He's been great.
That is not a good argument. That's the whole argument for the Bills is like, everyone on the Bills sucks. They're ass. They're the worst players to ever suit up in NFL history. But Josh Allen, and we partially made this argument, but there's this extreme argument being made by plenty of commentators that they can't do shit and they shouldn't be on any NFL roster. And Josh Allen is Jesus Christ for gracing his presence on those individuals and helping them play better.
Whereas Lamar didn't have Zay Flowers this weekend. He had Rashad Bateman and he had Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely and Derrick Henry. Okay. And just because they can run the ball, that doesn't almost this weekend flipped me on Lamar. And I'm still Allen. And I think my whole decision on this is who's going to be the most annoying group on their MVP push, because the Josh Allen MVP push, unbearable. The Lamar MVP push, a lot of race baiting, a lot of nasty work, lot of weirdness with this MVP debate. It's all. I honestly think voters, if they're smart, they'd wait till they play this Saturday or Sunday and just settle it there. Winner gets a unanimous. Winner of that game gets unanimous. I don't care how they play. Bills, Ravens, winner. There shouldn't be a second place vote given. It's one of the two.
Two amazing performances from both of those guys, but two absolutely awful dog shit performances from Justin Herbert and Jordan Love. The Packers are done. The Los Angeles Chargers are done. Now, I give Jordan Love some grace here because he came into the week and he left the prior game in week 18 saying that he had feeling issues in his elbow. I think anyone being critical of Jordan Love, it's completely unjustified. The guy was battling through something. That team was clearly so banged up to the degree that, again, a quarterback with an elbow issue tried to play through said elbow issue. That's the result that you get. You throw multiple interceptions. Your team ends up being sloppy and all over the place. It was just going to happen. Justin Herbert, on the other hand, he ain't got an excuse. Justin Herbert does not have an excuse. He crapped his pants, and everybody was watching it, including an audience of children that were watching it. Actually, an audience of a bunch of baked 22-year-olds that were watching the Nickelodeon broadcast.
Yeah, it's really getting.
Did you watch it? Did you watch the Nickelodeon broadcast?
No, I track it on social media. It's just too much going on. It's
would have been a good idea to get high and watch that. Why didn't we do that?
Because somehow we're more grown up than that.
I find that hard to believe.
I know. I got you. But have you ever used the Sleeper app for fantasy football? Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I have.
The Nickelodeon NFL broadcast feels like that insidious fantasy football app where it's a bunch of shit moving around on the screen, bunch of emojis, bunch of craziness. I'm like, where's the fantasy football numbers? I've had one dude pitching me that we should move our whole league to Sleeper.
Yeah, no.
It's the most brain rot fantasy app you could see. And then I think the Nickelodeon broadcast gives me a little bit of that same ick. So I stay away from it, even though I like that players are getting into it.
I need a broadcasting executive to let me pitch this to somebody. I want a broadcast on a premier channel that is some non-English speaking guy that is like holding his phone up to his computer camera, like on TikTok. Because have you not seen this on TikTok?
Oh, where they live stream on?
Yeah, someone's live streaming, and then like so you can watch the game. It's some guy who's like holding his phone up, and it's like, hey, here's the game, so that you can watch it for free, and so then I can get a bunch of tips. I watched the Boise State Oregon game that way because it was on Peacock, and I didn't have a Peacock account. And this dude was like commentating it. But it wasn't like, oh,
was
man.
he good?
No. He was just like going like, oh, man, that's crazy.
Like, whoa.
Like he wouldn't say anything. And then he would just kind of sit there and he would drink out of his cup and just go, oh, damn, whoa. And then like people would send him tips and were like, every time somebody sent him like, just like, not even like a tips, like on TikTok, there's ways to send people like those stupid awards or whatever. Mm-hmm. Every time somebody sent him something, he had to say, thanks for the rose. Thanks for the high five. Thanks for the rose. He did it every single time. And towards the end of it, when the game was getting really good, a lot more people in there. So a lot more people were sending things. So while I'm trying to fucking watch what's going to happen with Ashton Genty and this Oregon team, both seasons on the line in week 2, this idiot won't shut up. I need a broadcast like that on CBS, though.
That's as bad as me watching TV shows through YouTube Shorts. I will say that. I mean, this is...
I think
they should get rid of TikTok.
the game.
The government take it away, because if this is what we're being reduced to because of these corporate overlords, just putting the games wherever and whenever, that is some poor accessibility. That's rough.
I think we need CBS Sports Network. I want the CBS Sports Network. It's not a live watch along. It's just some guy sitting there eating a whole pizza.
You know what?
Drinking a 6-pack.
I bet it'd get a pretty good share if it's an NFL game on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably do better than Jason Kelsey's late night show. They call it Late Night with Jason Kelsey.
What is that on? Is that on Tubi?
ESPN.
Where does that air?
Midnight to 1 a.m.
Where does that air?
ESPN.
I haven't seen this air anywhere.
It just debuted last week. Disaster. Bad ratings.
Good.
Yeah. They brought Brian Baldinger in for the inaugural show. Philly legend Charles Barkley was there also, and Lil Dicky, another Pennsylvania legend. So they're pulling out all the stops. They're trying to juice these guys.
I like Kelsey. I'm starting to get really annoyed with the oversaturation of him, his wife, Travis, all of that. It's too much.
They're doing what
they're not that endearing. Okay,
remember when I'm with you? Trust me, I'm with you. I have the fatigue. But I think they're doing. Remember when Brock Osweiler just showed up and he was broadcasting an FCS game, and you were like, "Yeah, good. He should be working. He's getting paid. They should be sending him any game that they can."
Well, but he did a really good job because he's from Montana.
He was good. I agree. I think they're trying to do the same with Kelsey. They realize people are going to tune in. What was the question? Who's worse, Herbert or Love?
Well, it just makes sense that Jordan Love he's excused. He gets the Hack City excusal. If King, Justin Herbert, though, your thoughts?
If King, Justin Herbert had a great situation this year, he had a healthy offensive line. You got Rashawn Slater to your left. You got Joe Alt to your right. You got running backs behind you. You got Jim Harbaugh, who's madly in love with you, lusts after you on the sideline.
Hey-o.
You got crazy-ass Lad McConkey having quirked up white boy performance of the year. Quentin Johnston, better than last year, a little. You have to start exceeding some expectations at some point. And I like Justin Herbert. He's got a big arm. He can run. He needs another wide receiver. He needs a tight end that isn't Will Dissly.
Yeah. Oh my God. They got to get Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, first round pick. That has to be the answer.
I saw a boob mock Tyler Warren to the Cardinals next year. Like they don't already have Trey McBride.
Yeah, that one doesn't make
reputable
much sense.
site, Joe.
What site?
3-letter site.
Was it Ryan Roberts who put out the mock draft?
No. That is a different 3-letter site.
That's 4 letters.
Mm-hmm.
We should do that. He did. Next time he does a mock draft, we should tell him we're not we shouldn't say anything. We should review his mock draft.
I'd love to do a deep dive mock draft
in as critical of a format as possible.
Oh, just like over prep it like completely.
Yeah, and just be as mean as we can. Because Ryan will appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, if Justin Herbert had 2 all-pro receivers and an all-pro tight end and more offensive linemen and a top 5 defense, he would have definitely won that game.
Yeah, if it all came together and if he had a different OC, that'd be solid. I mean, but Jordan Love, you're on thin ice. Get healthy this season. I want Jordan Love in like a cryo chamber for the next month. Fix it all. Don't touch a football until they need you to start touching a football. I don't care about your
don't even
chemistry.
Touch yourself.
Yeah, no chemistry with Dontavian Wicks. Just chill out. Go onto a boat.
What do you mean Dontavian? Oh. I thought you were still talking about Justin Herbert.
Herbert needs a Dontavian Wicks. He needs some young options.
Himself.
Oh.
All right. Last game, because we're not going to be able to get to the Rams Vikings one. We didn't want to wait to get that one out until this game was over. Jayden Daniels put on an amazing performance against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Led a game-winning drive. It was one of those drives where they got the ball. There was just enough time left, and you were watching it thinking they're going down to score. There's no way that they don't go down and win this football game. I saw a stat that he has the most. He's got 3 games in his rookie seasons, and it's the most of any quarterback ever, in which he had no turnovers and no punts, which is an unbelievable accomplishment. He took that jersey number from Tress Way, and there is no reason for him to ever give it back. Heck, they should just get rid of Tress Way, sign another receiver. You don't need a punter. He has been one of the best rookie quarterbacks we've ever seen. I don't know if I would go as far as to what you phrased here to say that he is the best ever. He has been amazing. But to put him over the likes of like Andrew Luck's the first guy that comes to mind, because Andrew Luck, his first season, that Colts team was dog shit. That Colts team was bad, and he took him to the playoffs.
I'm just saying, I was doing some scanning on the best rookie seasons and the best rookie quarterbacks.
Okay, what'd you
before
get?
This? Robert Griffin III, decent year. Jayden Daniels, better than him.
Obviously.
Cam Newton, rookie year in 2011. Won Offensive Rookie of the Year, had 4,700 combined yards. I still think Daniels better rookie season than Cam Newton's. Russell Wilson 2012, better than that.
CJ Stroud,
better than CJ Stroud's rookie year. Big Ben, close, because Big Ben started 13-0.
Yeah, but he wasn't. But
he was throwing picks all over the place, and he did take him to the AFC Championship game though. And the consensus number 1 on a lot of lists that is going up for comparison. Dan Marino. Obviously started halfway through the season, had a nutty second half, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, and a Pro Bowler halfway through the year. I think Daniels has had a better, more impactful year than all of those guys. The Commanders were a DOA franchise in the cellar. New head coach, new ownership, new quarterback, and you knock all three out of the park in 1 year. Fantastic. And that goes quarterback up. I don't think it goes ownership down. You need the dude taking the snap to be good, and he has done that. Honestly, Joe, the Commanders were dueling with the awful Giants and the awful Jets for being the worst teams in the 2020s. They were already one of the worst teams in the 2010s.
Yeah.
But they were already starting off really, really ice cold, really bad, no direction. Daniels has completely reinvigorated the city. He has turned a franchise around in 1 year. 13 wins for the Washington Commanders. There's not a person on earth that thought they would have that.
No, I think that the expectation was that they'd be competitive but not make a playoff and win a playoff game. That is where the expectation has been exceeded. I still can't get behind those, and Blake, co-host of mine, is adamant about saying that Caleb Williams is a bust and won't succeed. I'm not willing to get behind that just yet. And to conclude that Jayden Daniels is the best quarterback in this rookie class, it's way too soon. Especially CJ Stroud was phenomenal last year. Everyone thought that he was on this MVP trajectory, and then he came back down to earth a little bit. Yeah. That is a reality that we need to set ourselves up for, that oftentimes once the league has an offseason to understand and evaluate and prepare for you, that's when things start to really come into, that reality of expectation for what's going to happen going forward. Now, Lamar Jackson, who he's been compared to, has not been stopped. So there's a chance that he just ends up going on to be that dominant. I think it's pretty realistic. I'm surprised that we couldn't find like a rookie season from like Ernie Shoelace McGee or something from 1902, back when the NFL was the AFCA or whatever it used to be
I'm
called.
sure Bart Starr ran for 20 and Pat threw for 10 in 1958. I'm sure that happened. Thank God that this was just NFL only tallies and not pre-merger,
back when you were
Super Bowl
running past electricians and
service members is who they're running past. People that were going on deployment in the offseason. Nice win, fellas. Thanks for keeping us safe. I'm going to go back and smoke a dart. What a league.
We have to touch on the heinous, ridiculous, nasty work that happened here with the interviewing process. The Patriots interviewed Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich, who are not even in the NFL, to satisfy the Rooney Rule. They tried to interview Glenn from the Lions, and he turned it down. Aaron Glenn turned it down, which good for him for doing that. They interviewed Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, and then immediately started negotiating with him. I get the whole, look, you knew who you wanted to hire, but you just fired a black coach. You just did this with two black coaches that aren't even in the league in order to speed run through the process. The whole point of the process is to give interviewing opportunities to legitimate candidates that are not white. Who knows? You wanted to hire Mike Vrabel. Maybe you interviewed somebody during this process that blew you away more than Mike Vrabel. That was the whole point of the rule, is to give those opportunities instead of just leaning into the pre-established relationships that most of the white people that run the NFL already have. This is probably one of the most ridiculous things that has happened. And the NFL, we haven't really talked a lot about the Rooney Rule because I don't think there were times it wasn't really totally necessary and it was a big headline. The NFL needs to change something because this is bullshit. This is total bullshit.
I think the genesis of the Rooney Rule probably was conceived under good intentions, where we want to start expanding the leadership for all parties involved with football, all race, religion, creed, whatever. Now it has just become a checklist for teams that already know who they want to get through, and it kind of feels like it embarrasses all parties, no matter how qualified they are being interviewed. Maybe we need to just start doing hey, do you know who you want? Okay. Then you go after only him, and then after them, you get put into the pool with the other teams that don't know who they want, where now we are enforcing the Rooney Rule. Like, it was so, if it's so blatantly obvious, like you and I both knew this offseason, if the Patriots had an availability, they were going after Mike Vrabel. Like, that would be their number one target, and he was probably going to be the Patriots head coach. If something is that obvious, why even go through the motions? Because it's not a real opportunity. It is just a checklist. And I think if there's a way where you can just, some teams hey, we are open. We are open to everybody. We don't have a plan. And I know it's going to take a lot for a front office to even say that, but there needs to be some type of process of teams with a plan, aka the colluders, and teams that don't have a plan that's when we maybe Rooney rule it and everybody gets a shot at the pie. But this whole situation, like there were some bad stories out of Denver previously. There have been bad stories in a lot of franchises when it came to hiring non-white head coaches. But this almost seems like exploitative, just to get him in for a cup of coffee and then just chalk it up. Like, all right, we're good. Now we're on to Monday when we finally announce Vrabel's hiring.
The only way that they could possibly work around this is if they go on to hire one of them as a coordinator. If they go on to hire Byron Leftwich or Pep Hamilton as an offensive coordinator, that's the only way that we can make sense of this. Of like, hey, look, we knew who we wanted to hire. These were the guys that we ended up wanting as coordinators, and we just wanted to get ahead of the curve. But I find that very hard to believe. This is a justifiably large black eye on the hiring process. To move on and to talk actually about Mike Vrabel, this was the right move. Gerard Mayo, a little bit too early on in his coaching career. He's a young guy. It didn't work out. Instead, you're staying within the Patriot family culture. You're staying within the franchise and trying to go with somebody that has been there before when the team won Super Bowls. Vrabel was a tremendous coach of the Titans. The Titans are one of the most underratedly, poorly run organizations in the sport. The success that he was able to produce there, I don't think is heralded enough. This is going to be a transformation. It's probably going to take a couple of years. They're going to get back to the same level of dominance. I really do believe that. I think Vrabel's a great, great coach, and things just ended because they couldn't figure out their quarterback situation. They swung and missed on Mariota, and it was just a matter of time before that fell apart.
I think the Vrabel appeal goes past him just being a good head coach, because there's a lot of people trying to rewrite his history in Tennessee and say, oh, he wasn't that good. What did he even do? Well, Tennessee was irrelevant, and then he got the most out of Tennessee while he was there. Then it all fell apart. Ownership traded away A.J. Brown for a bag of chips. Like they just decided to crumble after Vrabel left, and I think that's what happens. Additionally, why is Vrabel so enticing as a head coaching candidate? Why would it be? I think that there's a thing with football fans, and I have this in me. I definitely have it. Look at your boy fumbling one right down his leg. I have this gene in me where I respond better, at least for teams that I don't play on, to football coaches that look like football coaches, or that look like they have been involved in football, are surrounded by it. That's Mike Vrabel to a T. He's the exact opposite of that goofball in Miami, Mike McDaniel, who looks like he couldn't have been any farther away from football.
Hate Mike McDaniel.
You know what? He's chess club. Mike Vrabel is big.
He
big
played
time jock.
football at Yale. By the way, I maintain this not with coaching. I maintain this same bias when it comes to listening to. If I hear an analyst or somebody who's breaking down football and they didn't play, or they don't look like they played, or they don't look like they are in very good shape, I find it very hard to take their opinion very seriously. And I know people looking at me thinking like, oh, who the hell are you to say that? I mean, still played college ball. Like I still played D1 freaking ball. I am 60 pounds lighter than when I was when I played in college. I think it's a fair assertion to throw out there. Yeah, how about you do something about that?
Yeah.
How about you do something about that?
Here comes the latching.
Yeah. Don't give me that.
Oh,
don't give me that. No, I think it's a good take though. It's like, I mean, he is the ultimate men's guy football coach. Just a gigantic meathead.
It's man's man, you woman. It is the man's man. Talk about your 60 pound weight loss in your Luna bars. Look,
shut up.
He just has that kind of juice, and for an organization that maybe had the ultimate grown up in Bill Belichick, who didn't take anything from the players and ran it like the military, and then you go to Gerard Mayo, who was reportedly playing cards in the back of the team, playing with the team after games, away games. Maybe that's not so appreciated by management. Find the middle ground in Vrabel, who just seems to care about winning. He cares about getting jacked and staying jacked, and he cares about football. And I think that's a happy middle ground for the Patriots. I could see them stealing a couple big ones next year. Not playoffs immediately, but they could take one from Miami. They could actually cause chaos in the AFC a little bit next year. Well,
now Patriots fans, female Patriots fans, have something to look forward to looking at. And now for their second out of the last three coaches are by the standards of New England women.
Mm-hmm. Vrabel the most. Vrabel probably.
I mean, can we argue that though against Belichick?
Belichick had a bad picture today where there was some of the loose neck skin just from age, but you're just sitting there like,
dude, talk about motion.
I know motion, but could you imagine being that lady waking up and seeing that pool of skin right underneath the neck? That was a little rough. But Belichick doesn't have the juice.
I think you're underestimating Belichick.
I definitely am. I've seen him in a different light. I didn't think he was this fratty party bro, letting it loose in his 70s, but it is what it is. I think he's still probably my 3 out of the last 3 Patriots coaches: Belichick, Mayo, then Vrabel, number 1.
I don't know, man. The girls from New England just have a type, which is apparently Bill Belichick.
Who was Belichick's predecessor in New England? Who could?
Pete Carroll.
Oh yeah, Carroll. Oh, young Carroll was a stud.
No. 70-year-old Bill Belichick.
Oh come on,
Pete Carroll.
You have a USC bias against Carroll.
Bill Parcells.
Oh. God, Parcells may be worse than all of them. I mean, that head. If I don't know, man, dealing with that massive
if they're in
all day.
if some of the 20-year-old girls in New England apparently are attracted to Bill Belichick, who says that they wouldn't be attracted to the intensity that Bill Parcells brings?
I get it. It's
to a room.
It's the football. It's the money. It's the power. Urban Meyer was catching cheeks at his own bar. Obviously, you've heralded us with the story of Jerry Jones. And some of his exploits, I understand, but Vrabel maybe, and he's competing with like LaFleur, he's competing with McVay, DeMeco Ryans, Stefanski. Like this is probably
Mike McCarthy.
This is probably the most handsome the NFL coaches have ever been in the league. I think
and
everyone
as soon as Bill Belichick takes the Cowboys job, then I will agree with that statement. And only if Mike McCarthy takes the Bears job will I agree with that.
God. I would like, McCarthy in Chicago would just create a lot of chaos. I'd enjoy it.
It would fit the narrative. And speaking of which, Mike McCarthy, he is leaving the Dallas Cowboys in the most Dallas Cowboys fashion possible, which was literally, there was no conversation that was had between Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. Apparently it just kind of, sat around for a week. And then it seems like Jerry Jones finally decided, oh, hey, yeah, I'm not going to keep you. Just move on. So they're late in the process. Mike McCarthy's now late in the process. The Bears are expressing interest. They had originally requested an interview, and now they're going to be interviewing him amongst the 40 candidates that they have a desire to look at. 49-35 in the regular season when he was at the Cowboys, 1-3 in the postseason. That was the biggest issue for McCarthy, that he couldn't win any playoff games. Deion Sanders is now in the mix. I'm not buying this. I think that Jerry Jones, according to Jordan Schultz, spoke to him already. I think that there's going to be conversations, but Deion Sanders doesn't give me the vibe like he wants to leave college and go to the NFL. And I think he should be smart enough to realize I do not want this over my shoulder every single day.
It would be prime. I would love it. I wish I could say I wouldn't love it, but I would. I'd eat it all up. I'd watch every press conference. I'd be in it. I just because how could you not be? It'd be a fantastic story. Would it be a mess? Totally, completely. Jerry Jones and his ineptitudes. Back on Black Monday, I was talking to people in the office. They're like, oh, what are we prepping? All right, let's get all the coach stories. I'm like, oh, we should throw something in about McCarthy. I don't think it's solid yet, even though Jones came out and made a statement that we're good. You knew, you could feel it in the air that they were not all good in Dallas, and they just had to do some due diligence. Don't know why it took this long. Kind of crazy that you didn't know as soon as that final game ended that the Cowboys were going to be moving on, and now it's a contract length dispute. Give me a break. I don't know what kind of ass covering that is and who's doing it. The dude was an absolute train wreck down the stretch and cost the team wins with his poor clock
so you're saying
management.
That they should have gotten rid of him sooner?
I can't believe he made it through the entire season.
He was 49-35.
It was awful, Joe.
The team was banged up.
Joe, he was awful.
They finished the year with a much better record than anyone would have expected.
He couldn't manage the clock, and the Cowboys, when the lights aren't on them and they got Cooper Rush in, we know they're a different team, okay? They just are. They play more relaxed because they're not playing for anything.
I just don't know what else you're going to get here, because all of the other candidates don't want to be a part of this, and you're turning to Deion Sanders. And as entertaining as it would be to have Deion Sanders in the NFL, again, I don't think he should have a desire to take this. I don't think he should have any interest in taking this. But that feels like the only good option. Like, how much better are you going to get from a guy that just went 49-35?
I think college coaches should be way more selective. They should be like Harbaugh. Just wait it out in college until the perfect one opens up, until the dream gig opens up. I don't think this is Deion Sanders' dream gig right now.
I mean, that's just an awful. Come on. Anyone would want the Cowboys job.
This is his dream. Coach and Dak. He's not going to. He said he wanted to coach Shador and Shiloh. He said that was the only way he would be out there is if a team had a high enough pick to draft Shador and didn't think high enough of themselves to also draft Shiloh.
You trade Dak for the first overall pick, and you move up to the first overall pick.
That'd be a Mickey swap right there. That is some.
I support the premise of the potential here of this happening because it would be hilariously stupid. Not hilarious. It would just be the most chaotic offseason ever if that happened.
I gotcha. I don't know if I could deal with. I'd have to take a week before I actually dove into if Deion did go to the Cowboys because sports fans and AI are really just wearing me down. And
why are you hating on this? I think this is one of the best bits that we've had.
We're getting there, but it's still like, okay, so if you're not deep in the sports X Twitter, universe, some of these goobers are faking press conferences with Grok or with.
I don't think they're using Grok for
whatever they're using.
You gotta get a different application.
It is just
Grok is that good?
A voice replicator, a video replicator, a mouth mover. And it's the most overwritten bad jokes.
A mouth mover.
It's just, I can't take the AI bad jokes. It's all the hackiest jokes that you've seen. It's the most played out. It's the Jordan Jefferson jokes. They're bad. They're all bad. And there was a bad one of Jerry Jones, who just won me over, by the way, after his acting performance. And to see somebody like trying to type jokes for Jerry Jones, it makes me know how unfunny some sports fans really are.
Yeah, I'll admit there with the voiced over press conferences and the putting the fake voice on them, those are never really that funny. The funny ones are when people make the AI edits of players who lost doing various things.
Yeah, I'll take
shit pants ones.
Those
AI, are good. Guys working at McDonald's, those are good.
That's at least taking what you would have tweeted and putting it into just a picture. Like I can deal with that. I can deal with. Obviously, AI generated quarterback crying on the sideline. Like, is it great? Is it really? No. Is it lowbrow humor in the stupidest form? Yes, but it serves a purpose. Like I've found a way for it too, but where the tech isn't there for the AI edits, video edits to really be elite.
All right, that's going to be it from us at Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio. We will be back in the middle of the week to talk about more expectations for the divisional round. Talk to you folks later. Enjoy the rest of your week.